Hey everyone, it's me Holly, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a mental health chat with you guys, specifically on hyperfixations. I went on YouTube just before this video just to see how many YouTube videos there are on this topic, and there really isn't a lot. I've always experienced hyperfixations, which actually I should probably start by explaining what hyperfixations are. For me, this is my definition, and I will put like an actual Google definition on the screen here as well. But for me, hyperfixations are when I have a period of time where I'm like highly focused and fixated onto one thing and one topic. For me, a lot of the time it does tend to be TV shows, which I just get deeply obsessed with them. But like there are so many different effects that they have on my mental health, my life, and things that I do, which I never really actually realized until last year that there could actually be some negative effects as well. I didn't properly process the negative effects when they were happening until last year. That is why I'm talking about it today, because I wish I had someone telling me that what I was experiencing was real and valid and actually something that happens and not just me. When you're experiencing something new, you just tend to make yourself believe that it's just like it's only you that has ever gone through this, and because for you personally, you will only ever experience what's going on in your own head. So it's very difficult to actually feel like your feelings are validated because you will only ever experiencing your own emotions. So yeah, hopefully this video reaches at least one person who will watch this and feel like they can relate somehow. Without any further ado, let's just get into the video. Okay, so I do just want to start by saying I am not diagnosed with any mental health condition as of yet in my life. I do believe there is a possibility, and I do just want to mention this to start with because I feel like there is a lot of people online who tend to like get angry at and shame people for talking about their experiences if they don't have a diagnosis. And hyperfixations are typically related to people who have ADHD and autism. But I do feel like it's really important for me to still talk about this because, you know, if there is anyone watching this who hasn't got a diagnosis or hasn't got one yet or going through any sort of process, it's really important to still have your feelings validated, because I know a lot of the time I had doubts in myself where I just thought I really can't talk about this because I don't have the actual like evidence. Do you know what I mean? When really in life we experience things and things happen. It's just life at the end of the day, and if you are experiencing something, you are experiencing it, and you don't have to explain that to anyone if you don't want to. And if you do want to explain it to people, you have full permission to, because that is your life and that is your experiences. So first, I just want to explain my experiences with hyperfixation. So I feel like I've had I could go back very far to even describe the first time I remember really like obsessing over something. I had this deep obsession with space, specifically Tim Peake going to space. I watched that video, I think I was 10 or 9 years old. I had maybe an iPad or a weird tablet thing, and I would just watch this video on repeat of Tim Peake going up to space, and I would cry every single time. I can't even explain it to you, but I was obsessed. The first memory I have that when I look back, I'm like, yeah. But more recently, I would say Taskmaster, BBC's Ghosts, and the one thing I will probably mention is Inside Number 9 today, because it's when I kind of was more aware of the negative effects that a hyperfixation can have on me. That period of time, it was about May, end of May 2024, and I was doing my A-levels. I'd already done 2 A-levels, had 1 left, and I was on holiday at the Isle of Wight in my half term, and I still had 1 exam left and a brewing hyperfixation, which the combination is deadly. I'm just going to explain this for people that might not know or might be like wondering. For me personally, I will watch something and literally not even expect to obsess over it. I watched 1 episode of Inside Number 9 and then I watched a few more, and in my head, genuinely, it was just sudden, like instantly. I can't even think about. It wasn't a gradual process. I don't even know when it happened, but suddenly I couldn't stop thinking about it, couldn't stop talking about it. I was just always on YouTube looking at Reese and Steve, the creators of the show, and anything that they've done. I was deep into this out of nowhere, and it probably was not the best time as well because, as I said, I had an exam left. I was on holiday, as I said, at the Isle of Wight, and this was a very great holiday because my whole family went on this holiday, which we don't really do whole family holidays. I just remember the whole time I was just not it. I was just not myself. I feel like I was just not the person I usually am when I'm around people, because my social skills just went from there, which I'm not a social person, but I can socialize, but it was like that's where my social skills were before, and then they're down here. Like, I was just not talking too much. If I was talking, I was talking about the show or the writers, Stephen Rees. Like, I was just literally only thinking about Inside Number 9 throughout the whole holiday, as well as trying to revise, which when your brain is constantly thinking about one thing and fixated on it, I'm telling you, to try and find brain space to revise and contain information at the same time is such a struggle. And I'm just still proud of myself for actually being able to do that final exam well, because I got a B overall in psychology, which is the exams that I was doing at the time. But like, man, the way my brain just had too much going on. And if you don't know, stress diaphysis model, a little bit of psychology coming out here. If you have a period of high stress, then you will be more likely to trigger different things to happen in your life. It can be physical health conditions, which luckily I think I remained pretty healthy physically, I think, from memory. But for me, I think to go alongside and pair with this hyperfixation at this time just came along with it. Low energy, like quite bad mental health. I also at the same time, and I'm not going to specifically link this to hyperfixations, but because I was in such like a state of, oh my god, high stress, you know, low energy, constantly trying to think about Inside Number 9 when there's really not the time for it, but I made time for it because if I'm being like, when you're in a hyperfixation, that is the only thing that you want to be doing and thinking about and consuming. And I also experienced like really catastrophizing thoughts, which I've always been very anxious. And if you don't know what catastrophizing means, it's when you just like think of the worst case scenario, or like you're creating just the worst situation to happen in your head. And I suddenly just had loads of just catastrophizing thoughts, and I had always been really anxious in general life. And I would say right now, personally in my life now, January 2025, I'm the least anxious I've been in ages. But back then I was continuously anxious most days, so that wasn't new, but it was the fact that it was very much heightened. Everything scared me. I mean, I remember being at the Isle of Wight, and this isn't related to the hyperfixation at all, but I was on the chairlift going, you know, on the chairlift to go down to the beach, I think, whatever. And I just remember thinking, oh my god, this chairlift is literally going to snap and I'm going to fall to my death. And I thought that was going to happen. Convinced myself while still trying to, you know, present myself as having a chill time. I think I probably posted a vlog of my time at the Isle of Wight. You might not have even noticed I wasn't doing too good. But yeah, in my head I was like, I'm literally going to die. Every single thing I did, I was like, this could be it. Like, this could be it, because I would think of the worst case scenarios. And as I said, that's not particularly linked to the hyperfixation, but I do believe it played a part. So like, just my general mental health just became so much worse while I was, you know, experiencing the high stress of exams and hyperfixation at the same time. I will say hyperfixations, I genuinely think I wouldn't change any, like, that part of my brain. I wouldn't change it at all, because it provides me the most joy I think I could have in my life. And to be able to be so focused on one thing is just great. And I actually get excited and happy every time I get a new thing that I'm obsessed with. But yeah, so when I was on holiday at the Isle of Wight, I was just not as present as I wish I was. And looking back, I genuinely, and it's really upsetting, but I just have so much regret. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting upset. I just have so much regret because it wasn't something I could control. Like, I couldn't control what was going on because that's just my brain. And as I said, I wouldn't change it just because I really, really love when I obsess over things. But I just wish, like, I just think it was just a complete wrong time. I just look back and I'm like, I just wish I could do the holiday again now that I'm not in such a deep hyperfixation. Also, my socialization just wasn't it. Anytime I would talk to people, I'd only really be thinking about or trying to bring up the hyperfixation, and it does make me feel like, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, like, do people actually, and it really makes me overthink, like, do people actually want to talk to me? And I had this whole thing where I was like, do people even want to be my friend? Because I just wasn't doing what I should be doing as in the social norms of it all. I wasn't actually having proper conversations, and probably wasn't being the best friend that I could have been. But at the same time, I do excuse myself because hyperfixations are real and tricky. So then after the holiday, and so obviously the obsession continued, the hyperfixation continued, and I was off school for about 3 months doing nothing because I'd finished my A-levels. So I had like a prolonged summer, and I thought that would be the best time of my life. Turns out was not the best time of my life, maybe the worst. I was like so stressed, anxious, but so I would stay in my house as much as I could, so that when I went out, it became like, oh my god, way more anxiety inducing anytime I did go out, because I would prefer to stay at home, be watching Inside Number 9. When you don't do things regularly, they become more scary, and for me, I wasn't going out as much as I should have been, so that became more scary to me, and that's probably why I had more catastrophizing thoughts, which is how I'm linking my hyperfixation, which kind of kept me inside, kept me on BBC iPlayer, to obviously the catastrophizing thoughts, because that kind of caused me to stay inside more, which led to me being worried when I did go out. And I just remember any time I had to do something or go out, I just wasn't up for it. Like, I'm someone who loves to be with my family and like doing things with my family, and I just suddenly didn't want to. And it's just like, that's not me, but it was me at that period of time, because I think I just, would prefer the idea to stay at home and watch Inside Number 9, or I just wasn't wanting to do anything because my energy levels were so low. So I will now mention the feeling when in a hyperfixation, like, you can feel it going. It's just like the moment when you just like realize, I'm actually not as into this thing anymore, or like I'm not consuming it as much as I was before. Because hyperfixation, I don't know how long they last for other people. For me, this one was actually a little bit longer, maybe 3 months, 2 months, but that was like kind of long, I would think, for hyperfixation. I don't know though. I've not actually heard many other people's experiences, so I actually literally don't know. But because it's such like a long period of time for me, for this particular hyperfixation, it becomes a norm for you. Like, that's a consistent thing in your life. And then when you slowly start to realize, oh, actually, wait, hold on, I'm actually not that into it anymore, or like I'm actually not like consuming as much of the media anymore, or like watching as many episodes, and I actually don't find as much enjoyment from it, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I still love the show, but I just wasn't finding it as enjoyable as I was before. Then it's just like this gut-wrenching feeling. And I actually think, so the Inside Number 9 series 9 finale came out one day, and the next day after that, because in my head, to me, that meant I've got to let that go, and that's the end, when it didn't really need to be. And it actually wasn't. It did continue for maybe a couple more weeks after that. But to me, that was like, oh, Holly, wait, this is the end of that. And you should probably like not be thinking and not be fixated on it anymore. The next day, honestly, worst day, might be the worst day that I can think of from 2024, which is saying a lot. I don't even know why. I was just so low energy. I didn't even want to do anything. I didn't want to look at anything online. Didn't want to watch the show. I didn't want to do anything that I'd been doing consistently for the past few months. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what else there was to do. I remember feeling like, damn, like that hurt. That hurt a lot. And it's so weird because when I really think about it and deep it, and I take myself back out of the situation a little bit, it's just a show. And that's obviously, it's not just a show. But like, if I really thought about it from like someone's perspective that doesn't actually really know what I'm experiencing, to them it's just a show. They don't know what is actually, like, why I'm actually so obsessed with it. But it does become something to absolutely just be fixated on. And it is really weird when I do think about the fact, like, it is just a TV show, but like it means a lot. But yeah, so I think I've covered a lot of the negative effects I found from hyperfixations, and I do just want to say again, I think that they're very positive as well. And I feel like the positives, personally, for me, yeah, that situation wasn't very good for my mental health, but I actually would not change my brain or me experiencing them for anything, because it's like anything as well. Like, things will be tough in life. It is tough to experience that sometimes, but also at the same time, it's the best thing ever, and I love it. Like, I actually get excited when the next or I can feel another hyperfixation brewing. I'm like, oh my god, love it. And I love how obsessed I can get into things, and I love it. Oh my god, I love it when I can see other people also love the thing that I love. There was one period of time though, if someone I knew, like one of my friends, also liked my hyperfixation, the jealousy and protectiveness was real. Like, I actually, sometimes I would even think, do I even like this show anymore? Like, it's just so, I just don't know what's going on in my brain. But yeah, that is also a weird feeling. But like, I love it when I see people online talking about the thing that I love. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, they get it. They understand. If anyone wants to share anything or like comment, ask any questions, ask for advice, I'll try my best to answer anything in the comment section below. Hopefully this has made some sort of sense and could be relatable to at least someone. I do just think, like, people don't talk about it a lot. I've literally not heard many people talk about hyperfixations, and it's such like a huge part of my life, and I'm just like, I should probably talk about it on my YouTube channel. And actually, if I'm being honest, I have filmed this video twice. One time was like 4 months ago, then I filmed it maybe a month ago. Each time I'd delete it, I'll get too nervous. But now I'm in my era where I'm thinking, I've just got to speak. I've just got to talk about mental health, because at the end of the day, like, if I'm able to talk about it and someone can see this and feel like, oh wait, maybe I'm not alone in this thing, then what I wanted to achieve is done. And I'm a psychology student, and my end goal is to be in a career where I normalize and talk about things with people. So I just should really start now, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you have taken something away from this, even if you don't experience them and you were just curious about what they are. And, you know, hopefully this has educated you somehow. I really do want to research this more in my future, and hopefully as a psychology student I might get the opportunity to, which I'd really like to do. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.